would you please welcome Mr. Terry Gilliam?
It was about 5 minutes ago when I was asked to stand up here and create a bridge between this extraordinary filmmaker and you people who are supposed to be British. And since I now am British, I guess I can do this. I think we were trying to work out the date, and it was probably around 81 or maybe even earlier. I think Terry Jones and I were in Paris promoting one of our films, and again, I'm not sure which it was. And we were told there was this wonderful film that we ought to see. And it was by a man named Pierre Tex, which we had never heard of. And we went to the cinema, which was one of the little small ones I think on the left bank, and saw this extraordinary film with this wonderful, extraordinary character who reminded me of Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin and all the great silent film stars all wrapped into one. And it's now been 30-some years waiting to see that film again, or any film made by the famous Pierre Tex, because these films have been unavailable. I don't know how many of you are aware of, but a couple of years ago, a petition started floating around asking for help from anybody who knew Pierre Tex or his films or wanted to see them. And that petition, I think, had some effect on unraveling the complex nature of who owned these films and who was making sure that nobody could see them. Everything got unraveled eventually, and now we're able to see the films again, and I'm here because I'm delighted to meet Pierre, and I'm desperate to see his films again. That one night has stuck with me. I can't remember the name of the film. I just remember this extraordinary silent, this physical comedy. It was just wonderful, and so I guess we're going to get a chance to see it again tonight, and I hope I've bridged the vast gap between the French and the British.
You have. Thank you, Terry. And so would you please welcome Pierre Tex.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry, I can speak English. Mais vous devez comprendre ce que je veux dire. Je suis très honoré, très troublé aussi par toutes les déclarations de Terry Gilliam. Et en même temps, je dois vous dire qu'on ne pourrait pas voir les films que vous allez voir ce soir. Vous allez en voir un. Mais les 5 films que j'ai faits ont été restaurés grâce à Groupe Amagan et à Technicolor, dont les représentants sont là aujourd'hui. Monsieur Gilles Duval et Madame Séverine Weimar, que je tiens à remercier chaleureusement parce que non seulement ils ont été les instigateurs de cette restauration globale, ce qui est très important, mais aussi parce qu'ils nous ont aidés beaucoup dans notre détresse. Et ça, c'est encore plus important. Alors, je voulais leur rendre hommage ce soir devant vous parce que je considère qu'il y a peu de personnes aujourd'hui capables de faire ce qu'ils ont été capables de faire. Merci.
Pierre was saying that he's very honored to be here, he's very touched, and he's also a little troubled by all the wonderful declarations that Terry made on his behalf. And he salutes Gilles Duval and Séverine Weimar from, respectively from Groupe Amagan and from Technicolor Foundation for the immense work they've done. It was not possible to see this film or the other 5 films that they've restored of Pierre's for many, many years now. And he says that they not only helped in restoring the films and restoring them to their place in cinema globally, but also helped him tremendously in the distress it obviously caused to not have the rights to the films for such a very long time. Now, Pierre will be back at the end of the screening to take some questions from you to talk about this film and his career. I would just want to start with... This is another long and complicated legal story which Westminster Council will deal with later. I just wanted to ask, we mentioned at the beginning Jacques Tati, and of course your introduction to film was really with, not your introduction to film, you saw other movies, but Jacques Tati, of course, was very important in your beginnings in film, but also someone else who's very, very important who novelized the work of Jacques Tati, and worked with Jacques Tati was Jean-Claude Carrière, whose work many of you will know because of his work with Milos Forman in the cinema with Louis Malle, with Buñuel principally, and in the theater with Peter Brook. But also now, happily, you have the chance to rediscover his work with Pierre Etex. So I just wonder about, I hope you're understanding what I'm saying, because I know your English is not as bad as my French. But I just wondered about Jean-Claude Carrière and the importance of Jean-Claude Carrière for you.
Oh yes, very important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because c'est un homme très cultivé et qui a un sens inouï du slapstick et qui a un sens de l'observation extraordinaire. Dès le premier jour où nous avons travaillé ensemble, nous sommes parfaitement entendus parce qu'on parle de la même chose.
Yeah, so Jean-Claude Carrière is a very cultivated man who has an innate sense of slapstick. And from the moment that they first worked together, they understood each other immediately because they spoke of the same things. And there's a photograph of you and Jean-Claude as Laurel and Hardy. You're Laurel and he is Hardy. And so these were heroes of yours and Jean-Claude. Yes. Laurel and Hardy were for you heroes.
C'était nos modèles. On a aimé beaucoup Laurel et Hardy parce que ils sont les seuls à être les plus purs dans le cinéma comique de cette époque-là. Que ce soit Keaton ou Chaplin ou Harry Langdon, Harold Lloyd, il y avait toujours des intentions. Chez Laurel et Hardy, on est continuellement dépaysé. Il n'y a que le comique qui fonctionne. C'est formidable.
Yeah, so Laurel and Hardy were heroes because there were, of course, Chaplin, Keaton, Harry Langdon, and others, but there were intentions behind what they had to do with Laurel and Hardy. It was just comedy. That was all that they were really interested in. And I think maybe also, obviously in France, one would cite in relation to your work Max Landau, but also I think of Charlie Chase, the American comedian Charlie Chase, who is not so well known. Did you admire Charlie Chase also?
J'aime beaucoup Charlie Chase, mais il n'a pas l'importance qu'a pu avoir Harold Lloyd ou Buster Keaton, qui sont pour moi de grands modèles, surtout Buster. Il y avait un blocage de la circulation sur les routes que nous avions utilisées par des motards. Les motards stoppaient la circulation. Il y a une voiture néanmoins qui est passée. Et lorsqu'elle a vu passer un lit devant elle, l'automobiliste a fait un écart et il s'est retrouvé dans le fossé.
So there was a blockage of the traffic at that time, and when they stopped all the traffic, the cars and everything, and when they saw a bed going by, they were pretty astonished. We were talking earlier. The question there was what was the connection between Pierre's films and the Nouvelle Vague, because this film was coming out in 1969 when people like Godard and Truffaut were at their height in working, and what was his connection with the Nouvelle Vague? What was your connection with the Nouvelle Vague?
J'étais cinéaste dans le creux de la Nouvelle Vague.
Yeah, so he was a filmmaker in the palm of the new wave, if you like.
Je pense que le genre de cinéma que j'aimais faire ne les séduisait pas complètement, et pas du tout même, je dirais. Il n'avait pas l'intention de faire rire spécialement. Bon, alors, je n'ai pas été considéré comme quelqu'un de sérieux dans ce métier, vraisemblablement. Mais qu'importe, je veux dire, ils existent encore et moi j'ai eu bien du mal à survivre.
So it was although they were working at the same time, Pierre doesn't believe that they were intending to make people laugh in their cinema, particularly, and that his cinema, which did make people laugh, was not necessarily taken seriously by the same people who were taking seriously the work of the new wave. But you were admired by Truffaut. Truffaut, il a écrit une lettre.
Oui, Truffaut m'avait demandé de tourner dans Jules et Jim. Et je devais faire une séquence dans un music hall où le trio se rendait. Et je devais faire un numéro comique, et puis ça n'a jamais eu de suite. Ce qui prouve que la Nouvelle Vague n'avait absolument pas besoin de moi.
So Truffaut did consider using Pierre in Jules et Jim. He wrote to Pierre and he wanted to do a sequence in Jules et Jim with a musical sequence when the Jules, Jim, and Catherine, Jeanne Moreau, all turn up at the music hall, and he would be doing a sequence, but that was never followed up, which suggests to him that perhaps the new wave didn't really quite have need for him. But
Mais je pense qu'il eût été difficile de faire rire Jeanne Moreau. Je l'ai échappé belle.
he thinks it might have been difficult to make Jeanne Moreau laugh.
Ah oui.
She's very slow, but she does laugh in the end. You know. Pierre has brought to the screen the provincial bourgeoisie and also a city. And which city is it that he's brought?
Il s'agit de la ville de Tours,
Ah,
qui
Tours.
est au cœur de la France et qui est une ville lénifiante au possible et dans laquelle les gens s'observent. Pardon. Mais surtout, je voulais faire une ville composite à partir de plusieurs villes dans lesquelles j'aurais choisi un quartier puis un autre, etc., en fonction des décors dont j'avais besoin. Et lorsque je suis arrivé à Tours, j'ai trouvé tous les décors. J'étais ébloui. Et c'était formidable parce que mon producteur me disait « Si tu dois tourner dans plusieurs villes, ça va nous coûter une fortune. » Ce qui était le propos de beaucoup de producteurs.
Yeah. So what Pierre originally wanted to do was to make a composite city out of various different quartiers that would then sort of come together to form this portrait of a mythical city. But in fact, he found everything that he wanted in Tours. And his producer was very happy about this because he said if you'd gone to many other places to do the research for the locations, then that would have cost a fortune. So we thank Tours for its magnificent versatility.
J'ai toujours été intéressé par tout ce qui est nouveau. Tout ce qui est nouveau m'intéresse et j'ai fait un film en Omnimax parce que c'est un procédé nouveau qui remet en question le langage cinématographique. En général, je n'ai pas un regard nostalgique sur le passé. Il y a des choses que j'ai aimées jadis ou naguère et que j'aime toujours. Ce sont les choses qui ont une réelle valeur pour moi. Et puis, il y a ce qui bouge et qui est intéressant parce qu'on va plus loin.
Okay, so the question is really that for Pierre, that film was covering a very short period where the world didn't change very much, but he's very open to modernity to such a degree that he's made a film in the process, Omnimax, which is, I suppose Omnimax is quite near to IMAX, is it? I mean, I'm not quite sure because it's a 3-screen system, I believe. So you get a kind of 3-dimensional presentation.
On est dans 1000 mètres carrés d'images, tridimensionnelles, et on n'est plus devant un écran fixe. C'est-à-dire qu'on se trouve au milieu de l'image. Si on regarde là-bas, on voit ça, et si on regarde là, et là,
Oh, right.
on voit
So
tout.
you got 1,000 square meters of image, which is moving around you all the time. You're not in front of a fixed screen. So that's quite a modernistic concept for me to get my head around. And so he's not afraid or in any way opposing the modernity, but there are certain fixed values in life, which those are the things that he would cling to without at any time wishing not to move forward into modernity.
Annie Fratellini fut mon épouse, et j'ai travaillé avec elle. Je faisais le clown, elle faisait l'Auguste. Et nous avons monté une entrée clownesque. Évidemment, elle avait des cousins, et j'ai fait tourner tous ses cousins, tous ceux que j'ai pu récupérer.
Annie Fratellini was Pierre's first wife, and they worked together as clowns. They worked in the Cercle Pandaire and many others, I believe. And Annie Fratellini is very, very important because she was really the first great female clown. And together you founded the National Circus School in France, l'école. L'école Annie Fratellini, is it called
Oui.
that? Yeah, okay. And so the Fratellini family is a hugely important family in the history of circus. And Annie had many cousins, and many of the performers who appear in the film in Le Grand Amour are not necessarily actors, but are circus performers, are musical performers. So Pierre has a long history of working in the circus, so it's quite natural that they should also be appearing in the film.
Ce que je dois dire simplement, c'est que Annie, lorsque je l'ai connue, n'aimait pas le cirque Elle le détestait parce que sa famille entière ne parlait que de cirque du matin au soir. Et au lieu de faire du cirque, elle a fait du jazz. Et quand je l'ai rencontrée, que je voulais l'emmener au cirque, elle ne voulait pas venir avec moi. Elle ne connaissait pas le cirque. C'est pour ça que j'ai voulu fonder une école. Et elle m'a suivi quand même dans cette idée.
Elle était chanteuse, c'est ça?
Elle
en
était
fait, chanteuse de jazz.
de jazz.
At the time that Pierre and Annie Fratellini met, she was pretty sick of the circus because her family spoke about the circus day and night. So her way of rejecting that was to become a jazz singer. Pierre, it was for that reason also, because of Annie's rejection of the circus, that he founded the circus school, and Annie followed him into that following. But they worked also as clowns together. There is the clown, and then there's the Clown Auguste, which sounds very grand, but is actually a kind of buffoonish character who hits people with pies and makes a fool of him or herself all over the place. Voilà, that's the Fratellini story.
Je n'ai jamais vraiment rattaché cette scène au surréalisme. J'aime le surréalisme, mais j'ai surtout aimé le surréalisme en son temps. Aujourd'hui, le surréalisme, je ne sais plus très bien à quoi ça correspond. Ce qui est sûr, c'est que cette scène des lits dans le film m'a été inspirée par un ami qui m'a dit un jour: j'habite dans un quartier tellement mouvementé où on entend les voitures toute la nuit que lorsque j'entre dans mon lit, j'ai l'impression d'être en voiture.
So, yes, Pierre is very interested in surrealism, but he'd never actually thought of that scene in relation to surrealism. That particular scene of the motorized bed came from a friend of his who lived in a particularly busy area, and said it was so noisy and such that when he went to bed each night, he had the sensation of being in a car. So that's where that inspiration came from.
Je peux aider les gens qui ont en eux ce don de faire rire. Comme on peut avoir une oreille musicale, on peut avoir aussi le don de faire rire. Et ceux qui ont ce don-là, je peux les aider quelquefois s'ils se posent des questions. Mais vous savez, on ne peut pas apprendre à faire rire. C'est la seule chose au monde qu'on ne puisse pas apprendre. Pas plus qu'on peut apprendre à quelqu'un à avoir l'oreille musicale. Quelqu'un qui a une oreille musicale est musicien. Quelqu'un qui a le sens de l'observation et qui a en lui le sens du comique peut s'exprimer. Alors évidemment, les seules choses qu'on peut donner, ce sont des armes pour se défendre, c'est-à-dire apprendre l'acrobatie, la danse, la musique, la jonglerie, la prestidigitation, enfin que sais-je, toutes sortes de disciplines dont on se sert ensuite.
Yeah, so Pierre is saying that he doesn't really teach now, but what he can do is give a help to those who have the gift. In the same way that if you have a musical ear, you can become a musician. If you have a sense of comedy, you can become a clown. And all he can do is give them the weapons really to become the best clown they can be, whether that be juggling, acrobatics, magic, whatever. But they have to have that innate sense of clowning, otherwise it doesn't work.
Je crois qu'il faut aimer ce que l'on fait éperdument, parce que c'est un métier difficile dans lequel on a beaucoup de déconvenus. Mais on a de tels bonheurs par ailleurs que, par exemple, le fait de vous entendre rire ce soir sur un film que j'ai fait il y a si longtemps, je suis heureux. Tout ce que je peux dire à un jeune metteur en scène, c'est qu'il fasse d'abord quelque chose qu'il aime. C'est capital. Mais de là à donner des conseils, non, je suis pas capable d'en donner.
There's not much advice coming your way except that you must love what you do. And Pierre loves what he does, and he said the fact that there was laughter tonight in the cinema for a film that he made what he feels is a very long time ago is the proof that he was doing the right thing. But it's a very difficult life. There's a lot of happiness being a film director, but a lot of inconvenience as well. So he's afraid that's the only advice he can give you is you must be doing something that you love. Now, talking of things you love, you're going to love that tomorrow in the afternoon, I think at 2:00, we have another film of Pierre Etex, Le Soupirant. So you can come along tomorrow afternoon and see that. And you're going to love even more the fact that at Christmas, you can give all of your best friends a box set of all of Pierre Etex's films with extras and with a long interview and a film made by Pierre's wife now, Odile, about his life and his work. And that's coming out from Arte Video. And that's going to be, well, it's going to be in the shops probably in Paris. It's already in the shops in Paris, but you can get it on Amazon. You can do whatever you like. Go online or look on Arte's website. You'll find it. So that's your Christmas present problem solved. Meanwhile, it's been a thrill for us, and I know it's been a great thrill for Pierre, because for a long time he's wanted to meet Terry Gilliam and finally managed it tonight. And so, thank you so much for being here. Please spread the news about Pierre's work, because it is very important that it's having been restored and restored to him, that it's shown to the world. So we thank you very much for being here, and have a great night. Thank you. Thank Pierre.
Merci.